This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the first 3 episodes of the latest Disney Plus Star Wars show, Andor. Plus, the Avatar re-release does pretty good at the box office. Darth Vader will sound like James Earl Jones forever. HBO gives us a first look at the Last of Us TV show, and Beverly Hills Cop 4 is bringing back the OG cast. All that and more in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, September 26th, 2022.
You know who this is, and you know why you're here. You want all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news, and by God, you found it. Forget everything else out there. Forget all the Scientology bullshit. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Worship at the feet of the holy trio of geekdom, the Jock and Nerd podcast. Play it.
Check. Check 1. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talk it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Oh, what's up, listener? How's it going? Welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us is the reason Snuffleupagus disappeared from Sesame Street. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
I have nothing to say to that.
Somewhere, did you notice somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s, Snuffleupagus just kind of...
No, he's back.
Is he back?
He's back.
He went away. I think he went away to rehab for a while.
Well, listen, he found out that Elmo was around, and now he was a big fucking player, and he got jealous.
Yeah,
he
he's
said
like,
he came out of retirement.
I'm coming back, Bert.
Yeah.
Elmo is stealing my thunder. No, he disappeared, and I was like, what happened to Snuffy? For a long time, people didn't even think he was real. They thought he was imaginary.
Well, I can tell you that he's back for sure. I can tell you he's back 100%. See, there's nowhere funny to go with this anymore.
Come on, Ruggs. I threw you a thing. You could have made up something about, yes, I had to put him, he did a deal for me.
How do I let me make a dick joke out of this.
Okay.
Hold on. Well, listen, all right, kids, this is how it's done real time, all right? All right. Snuffleupagus was in rehab because he liked to fist Big Bird up the asshole with his snout.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy it.
And he had a thing about putting his arm in my slag hole.
Listen, with a snout,
That's all I'm saying.
With a snout that long, you could do a lot of blow. You know what I'm saying? It's just, there's lots of room.
That's not really a dick joke. That's more of an asshole joke.
Okay, it counts. It's one of
it's penis like.
You know, it's one of the orifices, so I'll give it a pass.
Anthony, what do you think? Floppy Jock.
Okay, we'll try.
I don't. We should try it. We should start over again.
No, we're not starting over. I threw you something. It's a big fail. Let's just proceed with the news.
All right, I can.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Listen, they're not all gonna be gems, people. What are you gonna do?
I need another drink.
Keep drinking as we discuss our first topic, which is James Cameron's Avatar. Why? Well, because we know the sequel's coming out in December, and to hype up buzz and in a marketing move, last weekend Disney re-released a remastered version of the original Avatar from 2009. This original release also at the end apparently had some post-credit scenes from Avatar 2. And what happens? Well, it goes on to open like number 3 in the domestic box office.
Oh, shit.
Domestically, it makes $10 million. The only higher movie this weekend was Don't Worry, Darling and The Woman King. Internationally, it makes another $20 million. This 13-year-old movie just made $30 million in a re-release weekend.
That's free money, people.
Which now pushes the Avatar's box office total to $2.87 billion, firmly making it the highest grossing picture of all time, just edging out Avengers Endgame, that's sitting at $2.79 billion.
Wow.
Here's my first question to you guys. Open question. Does this prove maybe that there is still some interest in the Avatar?
Well, $30 million in the global sense is not a lot. But if you're looking at it made $10 million in the United States alone.
Yes.
That's not really that great either.
Well,
I mean, it's good as far as it's free money for them. But is it? I don't know.
The box office hasn't been the greatest these past month and a half. They've been in kind of like, there's no big movies coming out.
Is it going to remain in theaters?
I think so. Also, they took it off of Disney Plus, so you can't watch it at home right now. You have to go. My follow-up question is, would you go see this movie again in IMAX 3D? Anthony?
No.
No? No interest?
No, I would not. No interest in seeing the original. I would say 30 million was only less than 2,000 movie theaters. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty decent for a movie that was out 13 years ago.
Right? It's crazy.
So I think, this bodes really well. I think Way of the Water will probably do $1 billion.
Like if it didn't even crack the top 5, then I would be concerned. But like it did get to the third place. So
The Way of Water has to make at least $1 billion, right? For all the money they pumped into this. And the fact that Disney really, they have to put this out. Like, this wasn't their call to do this. I don't know if they would wanted to do this, but they bought Fox.
Do what?
Invest in 4 Avatar sequels.
100% they wanted to do that.
No, this was already started at Fox, though, before Disney.
But they want to make money.
They want to make money.
Yeah.
They want Cameron.
I think, you get Cameron, you get Avatar. This is probably going to do $1 billion. Of course, they probably were buying it, and when they were buying Fox, they knew that this was being made.
But did they think people are still interested in this old franchise? And can it crack $2 billion? Like, how much does this movie have to make?
I mean, I've given Avatar shit because it's the most popular movie that no one ever talks about.
Yes.
But it is still, it still made a ton of money. A lot of people, I remember it being an event, and it's James Cameron. So I think there's people that are going to want to see this. A lot of people are going to want to see it. There's not just people. There's a lot of people that will want to see this.
Yeah, regardless of what it is, if it's James Cameron, I'm going to go see it. It doesn't even matter if it's Avatar, because it doesn't matter what it is. It's James Cameron doing it, and you know that you're going to get a theatrical experience, no matter what it is. He could make a fucking movie about fucking the Flintstones, and it would probably be badass. You know what I mean? Just for the Generation Z people, Flintstones is a cartoon from like 1960s.
What's the Flintstones?
It's about cavemen.
Is it Primal? I think he has a really good chance of being relevant to a new generation. I'm really looking forward to, they showed some footage at D23 and people were writing about how amazing this new motion capture underwater, the looks, the textures of things look just more advanced. I'm excited to see like a solid 3D movie. And again, Cameron's track record just says it all, right? But like, I want to see this new technology. Can he make 3D? He push it even further. Like, I'm excited to see it. I think it's a good move them releasing this now because it seems like
of course,
a lot of people, like, I almost went to go see it again in 3D just to like remind myself how awesome of a 3D movie this is. But I didn't go. But I may. It's going to be out, I guess, for a while.
I mean, he's got it didn't hurt, right? They gained an extra amount of money, like Rugg said, and they've got 3 more of these coming out. So
the problem with the movies coming out now as compared to when the first film came out, the first film had made $2.8 billion. 70% of that was from international. Now they're not going to be able to put the movie out in Russia, and probably, I don't know if they have a China release date, which those markets are becoming less and less, like China especially. Less and less movies are going there. Even though Top Gun Maverick,
I can't believe that's drying up over there.
That's alarming. It's kind of crazy because that's hundreds of millions of dollars, per movie,
right? That
are just taken away. But man, can these movies crack $2 billion again? Can he keep reigning on top?
Well, there's supposed to be 5 of these.
Yeah, so there's 4
2022,
more.
24, 26, and 28.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so I
wonder what he's got up his sleeve, because
right?
you watch that first movie and with all the wonder and stuff, I didn't end that movie and go, yeah, there's a lot more to make here.
Well, he's going to give us new planets, underwater planets, new flora and fauna and animals that have no names that are just fucking all made up.
Yeah, what happened is that Avatar kind of just skimmed the surface of what he was doing, right? So he had this the plot was with the humans coming to Pandora and upsetting the balance of nature, and then the Na'vi and their plight. But there could be so much more to it, and if we deepen the mythology and deepen the world building and deepen all these characters that we could kind of get to know, maybe we can grow with these characters and go, and maybe they have their own hero's journey. So it's like, yes, we saw this kind of simplistic introduction to the world of Avatar through a human being, right? That's pretending to be an Avatar or pretending to be a Na'vi, but there could be a whole thing unto itself of just this planet, Pandora, and what's going on inside it. And that could work. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off, but there is always an opportunity when you have a new world to do, like, you have Tabula Rasa. You could pretty much do anything, right? So, I
mean, does the story even need to be that great? Like the first one, a lot of people say it's Fern Gully or Pocahontas, and it's a story that's been told before.
Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves, but the presentation was new and exciting. If he's going to have the same dope technology presentation, but if the story is just other movies that he's ripping off and just putting it in there, I don't even know if that's going to matter.
It could be another just standard hero's journey, good against evil,
Yeah, Joseph Campbell deal there. Yeah.
But,
I mean, Star Wars kind of does the same thing. It's a very typical story, just with new wrapping.
Yeah, it's interesting that this is what, this great director that's been very selective about the films he's been doing. This has decided that he's going to make his life's work this thing.
He's been working on it for the past 10 years and the next 10 years. Speaking of the first movie, I love this quote. It shows you, like, James Cameron's got balls and he likes to throw out his weight at the studio. In an interview with the New York Times, he was talking about how he clashed with 20th Century Fox about the first Avatar's runtime, and they had a problem with the amount of, quote, flying around on the Ikran scenes. And this is what Cameron said. He said, quote, "You know what? I made Titanic. This building that we're meeting in right now, this new $500 million complex on your lot, Titanic paid for that, so I get to do this." And I was like, fucking guy, good for you. And this was in like 97 that he's fucking got these balls. So they're gonna let him do whatever he wants.
No one's ever said that he wasn't a little testy to work with.
No, and there's been, remember all the quotes that would come out of stuff he just said offhand that gets blown up on the internet over the years? Like, that happens all the time.
Well, apparently he was a menace to work with for aliens in England.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of these movies, he's kind of a control freak.
He doesn't like to take shit from anybody. No.
I mean, that doesn't seem unusual for great directors to be just super tight with everything and wanting to control everything.
Yeah.
He's the last of one of these guys, though. Yeah.
He doesn't let anybody push him around. He has huge balls. He prays to the Greek god Testicles. He fucking doesn't fuck around.
Listener, let us know. Are you excited for Avatar 2 and James Cameron's balls? Join the Facebook group. I don't know what that means. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. We have an awesome, fun Facebook group you can join and geek out with all our listeners. There's spoiler threads and lots of fun news and links and memes going on there. Join it today. Okay, moving on. A little bit of Star Wars news, since we will be reviewing a Star Wars thing later. It's come out that James Earl Jones is officially retiring from playing Darth Vader, but that doesn't mean that James Earl Jones will not continue to be Darth Vader. He has signed over the rights to his voice to Lucasfilm and this company, Respeecher, that is an AI. They've developed this AI software that we've seen. They've used it for Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker, and they used it for Darth Vader and Obi-Wan and Mando. And it's just kind of crazy that he's like, I'm done with this character, but we're going to keep, they'll never have to recast Darth Vader. They can keep having him sound the same forever. It's that nice crack open, by the way. I like that.
Nice timing.
Sounds promising. This way, they're keeping the voices young and sounding like they did in the original trilogy. Is this a bad thing or is this a good thing? It's kind of crazy technology.
Well, what would you rather have?
See, this is the thing. I can't imagine
Somebody pretend to be James Earl Jones and do like a James Earl Jones impression?
No, I don't
or
know.
would you want like James Earl Jones to like get into the booth and then you're like, let's develop an AI so I could just always be eternally fucking present?
I don't see this being a bad thing. I don't know. I think first off, James Earl Jones is probably getting paid for this in perpetuity.
We're signing the
Right.
rights. Yeah.
Yeah. That
And his
doesn't come
family
for
were
free.
probably
yeah,
getting
and
that.
its family, like its kids. So whatever that amount is good. And yeah, like Ruggs said, I mean, then you're just going to get people doing impersonations. You want this guy to live on forever. I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
That is like, it is kind of like the first kind of immortality that we've ever seen. It's like
little bit.
vocal immortality.
I mean, I've never heard anybody sign over voice rights. Like, that seems unique, unprecedented. I don't know if that's happened before.
I mean, think of what are like in pop culture history. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a top 5 voice of all time.
Right.
Maybe top 2, top 1. I can't think of anything more iconic.
I'm number one. He's the
Well,
second.
yeah, Ruggs is
Ruggs is pop culture voice number one.
Yeah.
Ruggs is up there, then Imran, and then James Earl
James Earl
Jones.
Jones as Darth
I mean,
Vader.
can you think of anything else? What are the iconic voices?
No, and it
He's definitely got, I mean, the guy who plays Skeletor is pretty good.
He-Man.
Or Optimus Prime is also.
Optimus Prime is a good one.
That's a classic one. Who else? I mean,
I was thinking like Freddy Krueger's voice.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan
Freeman is as
just God.
a character in and of itself.
Yes.
Just Morgan Freeman's voice.
But
I'm trying to think like what characters.
You guys are right. Like, you can't change his voice. It brings to mind when Jim Henson first died. He did a lot of the Muppets
the Batman
voices.
voice from
Bane.
No, not Bane.
Christian Bale.
From the the
cartoon.
Cartoon.
Oh, that guy.
Mark Hamill doing the Joker.
Okay.
With this whatever doing the Batman voice. Things like
Gilbert Gottfried didn't. He should have fucking AI'd himself before he died.
Oh my God, he should have.
As the parrot from Aladdin.
Yes.
Just his voice, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I mean, that's an
listening to
iconic voice.
that Jock and Nerd. No, so when Jim Henson died, his son took over and would do Kermit. But you could tell he tried to do an imitation, and it was his son. It was similar, but it wasn't exactly the same. It was kind of weird, and so certain things like that. I can't imagine anybody else being the voice of Darth Vader. It's just crazy.
Stallone's Rocky voice.
Oh yes,
Arnold just being Arnold.
it's brisk, baby.
That was Bruce.
Arnold should definitely.
Arnold definitely needs to license his voice for future Terminator
There's a couple
stuff.
of guys that could do a good Arnold, though.
That's true. I mean, we have the
There's some
Tom
great Arnold
Cruise guy,
impersonators.
who's the impersonator. Who we have the cameo clip of is Tom Cruise. He's amazing. He does a great Tom Cruise. So some people, but you see the face.
I think at the end of the day, he's probably getting well compensated for it.
We need a fake Arnold, like Jock and Nerd cameo.
Oh my God! If anybody out there knows of a good Arnold impersonator, we need to get
Seth
him
Morgan still around?
to get buy that cameo. Find the guy.
Do it.
Find the Arnold impersonator. We could use
I think
it.
he's at a truck stop right now, shoving a hoagie up his ass. What?
What happened?
I stick it up my asshole.
Well, that's what you do with it.
Also, like Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill could always be Luke Skywalker, and now James Earl Jones will forever be Darth Vader. It's crazy. Technology is scary. Someone look. There's enough hours of this podcast, though. They could re-speech us, you fuckers.
100%.
Yeah,
Can I retire?
we could get it to the point where I just type in our conversation and it just spits out a podcast in the different voices. You won't know.
You make the dick jokes from now on.
How about
artificial rug boy?
Ruggs? I know you've been playing around with those sites that generate AI images. That shit is crazy. Have you seen this, Anthony?
What's that?
There are these sites that work with AI, and you can literally type in whatever you want. Like, you could type in, I want to see...
Yeah, there's like AI art
Yeah,
programs.
you're like Gordon Ramsay riding a unicorn over a rainbow. And the fucking thing will think, and it will spit out this image of exactly
not
what you want.
anymore.
Oh, no?
Not anymore.
Nope.
Because so of course, the minute they create something, someone has to try and make it into fucking disgusting porn
Somebody tried
or
to put
something.
dicks in there?
Or like make like child pornography
Oh,
with it.
no.
Like, hey, it's AI child porn. It's generated by a computer. But like, so they put the kibosh on that. So they started like restricting like use of celebrity images and stuff like that. So
Wait, but is AI generated pornography? Would that still count as pornography? I don't know.
It's still pornography.
It's still pornography, but none of that actually happened. Or look, I don't know. Wow. This is where this AI is they're going to take over soon. Cyberdyne Systems.
Oh my God, here we go.
look, the shit's getting smarter and smarter every day. So
Do you think it will get to a point where you could type in a plot of a movie and the thing just makes the movie for you?
I don't know, but it could happen.
Isn't that crazy?
I feel like
It's already making songs and shit, and it's writing stories and blog posts, and it's making voices.
yeah, I think we're a little bit a ways from that, but I think eventually, yeah, you could get there. You would have to be very, very good at communicating it. You'd have to be able to be very articulate in what exactly that you want, because specificity is like so important.
Right.
You can't just say like a guy who has a fucking long hair and a big sword, and then the AI will create a sword with long hair.
You need a little more, information.
Yeah, I don't think the AI is. You're still having to input the creativity into the AI.
That's true. 20 years, the machines will have taken over. I'm saying it now.
It can't compose an image for shit though. Like it really, like 90% of the images like are cropped really weird.
Yeah, and the faces like look weird, and the way it like draws is weird. But it's just the fact that it could do that now is alarming.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that AI in about 10 years is going to be doing a lot of shit that other people used to do for money.
Yeah, it's going to take over a lot of jobs. It's going to remove a lot of jobs.
Right.
And you won't be able to tell. That's the thing. The difference is that's going to be.
I think you'll be able to tell, but like, it's still, people are going to use it. Cheap shit is cheap shit. People want cheap shit. Like, instead of paying some guy, $500 or $600 to do an illustration, you just, pay whatever $30 and then you have it.
Well, yeah. If you need a blog post for your website, right? Here's a really cheap way to just type in, I need this picture of a hand doing this, blah, blah, blah. And it just does it. And you're like, there you go. I don't need a designer now. All the artists should be worried. That's all I'm saying. Learn a new trade.
AI is here, people. It's gonna be talking. It's gonna be doing all kinds of stuff.
The machines will take over. Moving on.
Sure.
This just came out today.
Clutch your pearls, Imran.
Oh, we are all going to be replaced. How do you know I'm not a machine? That's all I'm saying.
Machines would create perfection, and I don't know what we're looking at with you.
No, this has all been coded into the system.
It just looks like Masacholi.
I don't know what that is.
You know what you're talking about. I like a good lasagna. Okay. Anyways, we have a trailer for the HBO Max adaptation of the video game The Last of Us, starring Mando, Pedro Pascal, and Bella Ramsey from Game of Thrones. Both Game of Thrones alumni in the lead as Joel and Ellie, right? Which is kind of great.
Know we were getting Oberyn Martell and Lyanna Mormont to face off against the White Walkers again.
That's essentially what it is. So, Anthony, you played this game. People are excited about this. What'd you think of this trailer? It's HBO.
I've only played the first game, so I didn't play I don't think I played the second one.
Okay,
but the first game is an all-time game. It's a great fucking game, great story, great scares. And you've got HBO behind this. You've got good lead. You've got a hot lead right now in what's his name? Pedro Pascal. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that's going kind of against this is just we've had a zombie craze. But then again, Walking Dead's kind of cooled off, at least in my opinion. It's cooled off considerably. So we're kind of ready maybe for a new zombie take.
Yeah.
I think this could be pretty good. I think you already have the formula in terms of not only the video game, but the first 5 seasons of Walking Dead were basically The Last of Us too. So it's something that will hit as long as it's well produced and you have good acting and a good story.
As far as producing, this is brought to you from creator Craig Mazin, who did Chernobyl, which is amazing and depressing and so good. Definitely watch Chernobyl.
Last of Us is a pretty depressing game at times.
So
as well.
like you said, the game is like you're playing a movie, you're playing a story. You hear the clickers, which is fucking awesome. And you can clearly see shots in this trailer from the beginning of the game when things get going. I was like, oh, I've seen that in the beginning.
Well, you can also see the zombies that are
Yes, they look just like the
flowered, kind of.
Yeah,
I forget how that's supposed to be.
The clickers, the clicker monsters.
Yeah.
Oh, and you hear the clicking, and the clicking comes
that's
from
real fucking creepy.
Dude, it comes from the controller, right? It scared the shit out of me the first time. I was like, "What's that clicking sound?"
It was fucking
hell,
creepy
it
as
is
shit.
vibrating. Playing that game in the
that
dark.
game was tough. I couldn't play that. Yep, in the dark, tough to play.
Oh, so good. Ruggs, what'd you think of this? Is you a geek boner floppy Jock?
It looks good. It looks like it's going to be well made. I don't know if my interest is that high because zombies are not my favorite thing. But The Last of Us as a game was great. And I remember being very involved in the game. But the game was like, not so much because it was a zombie game, but because it was just like, very high tension, high stakes, emotionally, like just gutting you every second of the day.
Story
You're like,
gets you, man. It's so good.
that survival aspect of it was very, very well done. So, I experienced it in the game. I don't know if the show is going to, hit all those same notes, but I hope it will. Looks like they really spent money on it, and hopefully it can do what the game does in a different format. I'll check it out, but I'm not really anticipating it.
I mean, it's definitely a Walking Dead.
It's not really high on my radar.
It's a Walking Dead vibe, but it's HBO and they make quality shit. And I love the trailer.
HBO is going to kill it.
The trailer, the trailer looked great. Also in the cast, Nick Offerman, Anna Torv from Fringe, you may remember her, and Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Gabriel Luna is also in the cast. So this isn't coming out till next year, 2023.
Okay.
But fuck, it looks good. I'll tell you, it looks good. You know what else looks good, listener? You with a Jock and Nerd t-shirt on. How do you do this? You go to our shop, jockandnerd.com/shop, visit our TeePublic shop. Link in the description. You can pick out a hoodie. It's getting cold. There's some tank tops, t-shirts, baseball shirts. We got mugs, cell phone cases, lots of stuff with different designs. Old logo, new logo. Keep yourself warm with some Jock and Nerd gear. Okay, last thing in the news. One of the movies that was in our 1980s action movie tournament is getting a new installment. I am talking about Beverly Hills Cop. Coming out. They're making a fourth movie.
Oh, shit.
Netflix bought the rights in 2019. They're calling this one Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley. No number. Calling it Axel Foley. So, a couple of things to note.
Produced by Bruckheimer.
Produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, and it's being directed by someone named Mark Malloy. This is his feature film debut. In the past, Brett Ratner was attached. Actually, Adil and Bilal were also attached at one point to do this. Eddie Murphy is returning as Axel Foley. There's set photos of him wearing the same fucking jacket that he had in the original. But that's not all. Who else is returning? Judge Reinhold and John Ashton as Rosewood and Taggart. They will be back. Paul Reiser is returning, and fucking Bronson Pinchot.
Oh,
And
shit.
Surge.
Oh, shit.
Surge is returning, and my favorite line that Surge has is when he goes, "What is this pertaining? What is this pertaining? What is this pertaining?" So my hope is that Surge is like some drug lord, criminal mastermind. What are they going to do with him?
No.
Also, it's great
come
that
on.
Larry Appleton, Marklin Baker is on She-Hulk, and Bronson Pinchot Balky is on in this movie from Perfect Strangers. Anthony, can this be any good? Does this even need to be made?
It doesn't need to be good.
It's necessary.
At this point.
There's a chance, right? I think where the first off, the second one's not bad. It's just a little. It's Tony Scott. The third one's terrible. The problem is Eddie got really Eddie stopped being an awesome actor like he is in the first one. He's really present throughout the movie and very good at flipping the switch. And then the later movies and a lot of Eddie's later roles were just Eddie doing bits throughout movies.
Right.
So that kind of took it the wrong way. I mean, I like that the original cast is coming back.
That's crazy.
I think really what they should have done, and this isn't my idea. I stole this from the Rewatchables, but it's a brilliant idea. Is what they should have done after the first one is they should have sent the whole crew to Detroit.
Oh,
and done
yeah.
done the whole
The same movie over
fish
there.
out of water
Yeah.
in Detroit when they have Eddie showing them around.
That would have been
the right
good.
spin.
Yeah.
But instead they kept having Eddie go back to Beverly Hills for these cockamamie reasons.
He's going back to Beverly Hills for this one, too, for some reason.
He is going back,
Yes.
so there's a chance. It could be good. if the people making the movie give a fuck, we'll see. I'll give it a shot.
There's no way it's going to be good, but I'm still going to watch it. Just like Coming to America Part 2, it was terrible.
Okay, that was terrible. And like, can they Top Gun Maverick this? The last few, like the Bill and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was okay.
Was Eddie any good in Coming? I never even saw Coming to America 2 because you guys gave it such bad reviews. Was Eddie any good?
He is okay. He's the same character kind of he was in the first movie. But it's just them I'll tell you where he was good, and that it's a recent performance in My Name is Dolomite.
Right,
he's amazing in that. So I think he's got the chops. It's just how much does he want to commit to it? Coming to America is forgettable. Yeah,
Judge Reinhold's funny as hell.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt also joining the cast this time around. Judge Reinhold is always loved, but these guys got to be old though.
I mean, how old is Paul Reiser?
Paul Reiser is pretty old.
Not Paul Reiser. What's the guy they're not bringing back? He must be dead. Let me see the guy's name in Beverly Hills Cop 2. The Bogomil that plays Bogomil.
Oh, speaking of dead actors, somebody pointed out in our
Ronnie
Facebook.
Cox.
Somebody pointed out in our Facebook group based on, I think it was Nick Shev, our Cobra Kai review, where he said Michael Ironside was dead.
He's alive.
He's alive.
Yeah.
So he's dead to me. Okay,
correction there.
They got to bring back Ronnie Cox. He's
Ronnie
84.
Cox. Oh,
yeah, Bogomil. He's the lieutenant. He's the lieutenant in the first one. He gets shot in the second one. He's Dick Jones in RoboCop.
Oh, that guy. Yes.
He's still alive?
He's still, this guy's
84
great.
years old.
He's been in every
Jesus
80s
Christ
thing.
He looked like he was 84.
He was in Total Recall. Oh, he's Cohagen in Total Recall.
That's right.
What they should have done, either that or the second one, there were also the ideas throwing around that they'd send Eddie to like London. But Eddie's ego was like, no way, I'm not going to fucking London. I'm going to do another film in L.A.
Yeah.
I'm not going to London.
I just want to hang out here.
His ego was getting out of control already.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
They were going to do a thing like, but the thing should have been putting Eddie or putting different cops in different cities, fish out of water cities.
Yeah,
but instead they kept going back to L.A. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, the best we can hope for is they kind of just redo the first movie and change a couple
don't redo
things.
the first. You got to do a spin on everything. They redid the first movie 2 more times in the second and the third movie.
I think there's a low probability that this will actually be any
I have
good.
a little bit of hope.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it anyways. Because how are you not gonna watch fucking Eddie Murphy come back?
You definitely.
When
You're
they make
Eddie
the
guy.
Golden Child sequel, then I'll perk up. Like
the Golden
Child too.
Oh my god.
I love Eddie.
Yeah.
We'll see if
that's like Big Trouble in Little China with Eddie Murphy.
I don't know when this is coming out. It's a Netflix movie.
I remember seeing The Golden Child as a kid and going, "This is really strange. I don't understand what's going on here. What's with this movie?"
It's a good Eddie Murphy movie.
It was like they said. It's Big Trouble in Little China with Eddie Murphy in it.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's all it is.
It's fucking strange. So yeah, things will never die and they will come back.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. I mean, I like rewatching Beverly Hills Cop. I was very impressed with how good that movie's aged.
Yeah.
How well that movie's aged.
Yeah, it holds up for the most part. So yeah, Eddie, we can do Coming to America. Let's do Beverly Hills Cop. Bring all your shit back, Eddie. I don't care. Do it.
I mean, they've been having Beverly Hills Cop 4 in pre-production for probably 10 years now.
Yeah.
They've been talking about making that movie.
Yeah.
They've been talking about making that movie since the mid-90s.
I think they're actually shooting it now, so it's gonna happen.
There we go.
All right.
Cool.
That's it for the news. We're going to take a break, play some promos here, listener, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Star Wars right after this.
Yay.
Anthony's favorite thing.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Matt.
And Jesse.
We host American Slacker Podcast, your weekly rundown for weird news, entertainment suggestions, and unique games.
Every other week, we bring on guests from all walks of life, like comedian Mark Forward of Letterkenny.
Yeah, we just call it tuna up here. We're pretty clear that it's a fish.
And NYC stand-up powerhouse Ian Fidance.
I want to fucking punch you in the fucking face with positivity and fun, motherfucker.
Actor Brandon Crane of Stephen King's It.
Because a lot of the work that I did, like Wonder Years to It, they were all very, period 50s, 60s, and, Chucks were all the rage.
And Art the Clown from Terrifier, David Howard Thornton.
They also had to make a mold of my face while I was there, so that was kind of claustrophobic in itself.
Musician Dan Simons of Just Surrender.
First time ever going out on tour, you remember every step.
And Nick Thompson of Hit the Lights.
All the stuff that I think that people go through life, and it's just like my outlet for that.
Watch the video version of American Slacker on our YouTube channel and listen to our show on your favorite podcast app.
New episodes every Wednesday. Visit our website, aspodcast.com, for everything American Slacker.
That's it.
There you go.
Transmission commencing.
This is Wookiee Radio. Translated for the Wookiee impaired. I like that Wookiee. Your hosts, Ken, Derek, and Mike, bring you the latest news and commentary from the far reaches of the galaxy.
Hold it. Hold it. I said hold it.
Subscribe today on iTunes and Stitcher.
I just assumed it's a Wookiee.
Start listening today, and remember,
the Force will be with you, always.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy this show, consider joining our fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And it's a way for you, listener, to give back to all the attempt at entertainment we try to provide. If you feel like you want to give back, that's where you could do it. And you get stuff like access to an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. There's bonus content. You get access to our Discord server where we do monthly Geek Out Hangouts. And there's a tier where you can pick any movie you want, force us to watch and review. Lots of fun stuff, all at jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Check it out today. Let's get to this week's review. It is the new Disney Star Wars series titled Andor. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
I know what you're thinking. Andor what? It's just Andor. Andor. It's not two words. Boo.
Lame.
I'll give myself that. Anyways, this is a show that is created by Tony Gilroy, who has given us Rogue One. He's
For us, by us.
For us. It's made for us, by us. It's a FUBU Star Wars.
Oh.
Is that where you're going?
Maybe not.
Nope.
Yeah, that's where where I was going with that.
Damon Johns is a huge Star Wars fan. I know this. He says it on Shark Tank every week. No, Tony Gilroy wrote Rogue One. He wrote and directed Michael Clayton, The Bourne Legacy. He wrote all the Bourne movies. So this is Tony Gilroy. This show stars Diego Luna reprising his role as Cassian Andor from Rogue One. And it is essentially a prequel to a prequel that is in between other prequels. Okay, you follow me? It's set 5 years before Rogue One, and Star Wars A New Hope is the setting of this specific Star Wars show. Anthony, let's hear from, in layman's terms, from the not Star Wars fan perspective. They put out the first 3 episodes of Andor. What is this show about? What happens?
This is about Andor's origin to joining the rebels, right?
Yeah, the rebellion. Yeah.
And it starts with him looking for his sister and getting caught up with some bad cops that he actually he has to murder or defend himself and kill. And by doing that, he draws the attention of some police that are looking for him. While they're looking for him, he is in the midst of trying to make some money by sell some shit, and he has to meet a girl that knows a guy. And that's pretty much the first 3 episodes.
I know a guy. That guy being Stellan Skarsgård, who's awesome and everything. So, to me, this was a very different Star Wars show. Can't wait to find out what you guys thought. Anthony, overall thoughts. I know we forced you to watch Star Wars things.
You forced me to watch these things. You forced me.
Now that we forced you to watch like the Favreau Filoni shows, I'm curious to see how this one hit you.
Okay, so I'll start off by saying I did not want to watch this.
Yes.
I didn't even remember Andor from Rogue One, even though I liked Rogue One. I've seen Rogue One time. And it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
And I've never revisited it, so I don't even know who Andor is. The only thing I know this guy from is he plays a drug dealer in Narcos, Mexico.
Oh, he's on Narcos too? Man, everybody's on Narcos.
He is.
Okay.
So that's all I know him from, and I hate Star Wars. So not a lot going in the right direction.
No.
Watched this show, and I'll say that by the end, it's not bad. It's not a bad show. It's not a complete waste of time. It actually is pretty decent.
Wow.
I think similar to what happened with Rogue One and why I kind of like it is there's not a ton of goofiness to this thing, and that's what I kind of hate about Star Wars. It's just so fucking goofy, and this treats everything pretty seriously. The set pieces are pretty seem pretty lived in. There's not this like cheap set feel, at least in my opinion. I think there's good drama, and I'm kind of enjoying following the guy. And the third episode has a pretty fun, like not even fun, just like kind of a tense, harrowing sequence with him meeting Stellan Skarsgård's character, and then the shootout and the motors and stuff dropping all over the place, and them trying to escape. So there's like real tension. They treat this very seriously. If we have to watch all these episodes, I wouldn't be upset. So there we
Holy
go.
shit, I'll take it. Wow, that is interesting.
It's the first good show that they've put where I've like this is legitimately pretty decent since Mando.
Well, and you touched on a lot of things that make this different from the Filoni Favreau Star Wars universe that they built. Ruggs, what'd you think? This is clearly a more adult Star Wars show. I mean, it starts out in a brothel and there's a fucking murder. Like, there's sex in Star Wars. They said the word shit for the first time on any Star Wars thing. The one guy says shit. So this is a different take. Did you like it?
Is it Star Wars? That's question number one.
That's a good question.
It like Rogue One, it kind of adapts this very serious tone, and it's kind of like a lot more grounded and more gritty, and it feels less melodramatic as Star Wars is. You know, like Star Wars is kind of like melodramatic and like over the top and played up a lot, and that could be grating on people, especially when they've grown up with it, and they might have matured out of that, you know. So I do like this direction. I like funny stuff, you know, and I like the Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. But I think that there's too much of that going on in all the Marvel stuff and everything. So I feel like this is different, and it just makes it feel like it's more serious. And so you're taking it more serious when you're watching it, and you're allowing yourself to get more invested in it because it has that air of reality to it. So I think that plays very well as far as a person trying to connect to a show. This may not be a show for someone who really loves Star Wars, though. So it's kind of a conflicting thing. I do like this show, though. I really think they're doing a lot of great stuff. I like that there's sex in Star Wars. Right. Why not? Yeah. I like that they're kind of evolving to kind of grow a little bit more adult. And this is a very direct story. It's like a guy looking for his sister. You know, he's now got the attention of the police. He's got to fucking get the fuck out of there. You know, you understand his motivation. There's nothing like hard to figure out. You don't need to even see any other Star Wars movies or anything to watch this show at all. Like at this point in time, 3 episodes in, you don't need anything. You need no knowledge of Star Wars to watch it. So it works on that level. I did think that they took 3 episodes to do something that they could have done in 2.
I agree with that 100%.
I feel like that middle episode was like filler galore.
They could have done, so the episodes were like 40, 30, high 30s, 40 minutes. They could have done all of this in 2 50-minute episodes. There was a little bit of decompressed writing.
There was
happening.
a lot of fat. There was a lot of fat they could have cut out
because they're going to
they
the
were like beating a dead horse at some points. But with that said, still I'm interested to see what happens. Even after going, there's a lot of this decompressed shit where like you're like, let's get to that. Like, why am he's still trying to sell this thing? Yeah. 3 episodes in, and he still hasn't met this guy.
The 3rd episode, though, does pick up, and the minute Stellan Skarsgård shows up, like, it gets really interesting.
I think that
Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like the reason that they did that was because they wanted to give that scene in the hangar with all the motors.
Yeah, that was great.
It's due. They wanted to make sure that they spent enough time to make a nice big satisfying action sequence that had like tension in it. And if they were to squeeze it down and chop it down to fit in an episode, it probably wouldn't have worked as well. But I think that instead of decompressing the story, they could have added another element to it, you know, to kind of, to kind of be like, okay, we're not just waiting for this guy to show up for like 2 episodes.
Well, they had to put 3 episodes out. Imagine if they just put the first one out. I'd have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you can't stop at the second one because then you'd really be pissed off.
Well, yeah, that I would just, while we're on that point, I watched the first 2 yesterday and I watched the third one right before the show. When I watched the first 2 yesterday, I went, whatever. Yeah, I took note of the tone and I appreciated that, but I wasn't hooked in until I watched the third one and I went, okay, this is going somewhere now. I get it. I kind of understand.
It's like you could see that the level of that they're willing to go to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we're going to add tension. We're going to add like, we're spending money on this shit. It's going to be well directed, and you know we're not cutting any corners here.
It looks movie level quality, like it's very cinematic. Like I said before, it's all shot on location, and
so it's doing like a lot of great things.
Yeah.
So I don't want to stamp it out at this point, but I am very wary of them decompressing stories like throughout this series.
What also worked for me too is the fact that the bad guys, quote unquote, are these like cops. I don't know what you call them.
They're just corpos. They are corporate.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like corporate security.
Corporate security
that the Empire kind of like is sending out to do their bidding.
The guy that is leading them, although he looks kind of like a square, his motivation is also like it's also good. He's coming from a good place, right? Because he doesn't know what happened to those 2 officers.
Right.
All he knows is there's 2 dead officers, and his boss is just like, fuck it. Who gives a shit about them? And he's like, no, like they died. Like we gotta investigate this. We gotta get after this guy. The dueling forces of these 2 guys going at each other that don't really know one another and seem to at least have their hearts in the right place also makes for an interesting conflict.
That dude is going to be in so much trouble when his boss gets back because he told him, make it look like an accident. We don't need this heat. Basically, this is this company that's working on this planet, and they don't want the Empire involved in anything because then they're just going to come down and take over, right? They're like subcontractors. So he's like, make it look like an accident. We don't need heat on this. And what ends up happening, this guy takes his men out and gets half of them fucking killed along the way. He is in so much trouble. He's fired. I don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I don't think, but that's not the last you see. I think of that guy. Like,
no, his name
these
is
2 are going to be running into each other over and over.
Cyril Karn. This is why you don't see any like stormtroopers because like they're not technically, they're like subcontractors of the Empire. The Empire, the Empire is doing its own thing.
Well, you know that's smart. You know why? Because every time someone sees a stormtrooper on scene, it's the most unintimidating thing you'll ever see anymore in Star Wars.
This is not a show that for the other one where like kids will attach themselves. There's no like older guy and a young puppet or a young child. Like this is fucking. I love this.
We don't have Leia. We don't have Leia out running.
Well, they got the
running adults. I love the droid. B2 is great. I love the fucking little droid. He's got a little attitude, but I love this grounded, dark, mature take on Star Wars. But I've seen some of the discourse and Rugs. You brought it up a little bit. It's almost like you could take Star Wars out of this and it's still a solid sci-fi show. I loved how some of it looked like Blade Runner, Cyberpunk, the video game in the beginning, but
kind of looks like District 9.
Yeah, a little bit like District 9, that kind of. But is that
industrial garbage feel
and the neon lights and shit? And but is that like they have a red light district in Star Wars? It's great. Is that a good or bad thing? Because why can't Star Wars be also this as well as be what the Mandalorian is?
It can be. It can be. Just people have to get used to it. Like, that's why Rogue One is a polarizing film to 100%. A lot of people.
And that's why they kind of stepped in at the end and redid the ending to, like, make it more Star Wars, right? Because Tony Gilroy, I read some articles, he goes, I'm not a Star Wars guy. I'm approaching this from a guy who has not into this lore. So this is why you get this tone and this feeling that there's no nostalgia, there's no unnecessary callbacks or little Easter eggs. It's just this sci-fi story. But I kind of love it. I kind of love seeing this side of Star Wars.
Well, look, the thing that people have to understand is that at the end of the day, this is the beginning of the Rebel forces. Yeah. So it's going to tie in. There's going to be space battles. There's going to be Maybe not like X-Wing fighters, or maybe, who the fuck knows? But like, there's definitely going to be that. So that's going to tie it in. There's going to be that connection's going to be there.
Would you say this would be a good entry point for Star Wars people, like someone like Anthony who hates Star Wars? I feel like they could get on board if they watch this.
I feel like people who just like sci-fi could just watch this show.
Yeah. I liked it because it's a well-made show. Like, it's a well-made show with an interesting story and a conflict that is kind of riveting.
Great.
Yeah, and
it looks great and feels great. Like you feel like you're watching quality. You feel like you're almost in a movie theater experience.
Yeah.
So I feel like that anybody who is receptive to that cinematic experience is going to get that out of this show.
I really like the scene too. There's, a bunch of scenes, but I liked how, when the town kind of rallies for him and they all run and start banging those things.
Yeah, it's great.
Banging the metal.
Yeah.
Even the scene where the guy that ratted him out gets killed and he's on the staircase dead.
Yeah.
It's like
Tim.
It just looks, I don't know, it just looks more, even though it's clearly obviously sci-fi, that looks like a real alley in another planet. Whereas if you look at like Boba Fett,
yes,
all those scenes look just like straight up set.
This is the other thing I appreciated. The world seems very lived in. You're seeing construction sites. You're seeing blue collar side of Star Wars. I love the diverse cast in, the humans and the aliens. That big dude Vetch was great, where he just stood there and goes, "Oh, what?" The big alien dude.
Everyone's acting for the most part like actual human beings.
Right. So there's none of this because Star Wars has a tendency for people to speak in cliche, goofy terms, right?
Yeah, this is goofy. All the
it's
time.
a goofy. That's part of it. But then this is also
it's made for
side.
kids,
right? This is not though. This is like somebody's taking Star Wars, making an adult show, which is it's dope. I can't wait to see how far they push it.
If you're going to make a Star Wars show for stuffy, unimaginative people, right? Like adults,
right?
That are that have lost their childlike innocence,
sure. No
and
fun anymore.
And swashbuckling fucking tendencies.
Yeah.
You're going to center on the stuff that is kind of very boilerplate news. You got, you have this rebellion, you have this oppressive government, you have all of these things that you can do that are kind of everyday things that we all deal with and just packaged as Star Wars. So I think that's what they're doing. And so it is more accessible in that way.
I love that perspective. I love seeing that angle, in the third episode when Luthen, Stellan Skarsgård, is like, "Don't you want to fight these bastards for real?" And I love how Cassian goes, "The Empire is so fat right now that they don't even notice. I walk in, I spit in their food, I take their gear. Nobody's paying attention." And clearly that guy Luthen has been following Cassian and knows that he's really good at sneaking into places. So I just love that we're at the height of the Empire and it's so big that they're getting sloppy and you could sneak in. It's fucking great. So here's how the layout of the pacing of the show is going to go, apparently. The first season is 12 episodes long. It will cover 1 year in time. And every 3 episodes, there's going to be a time jump. So this first 3 episode arc was Cassian's origin, right? Luthen finding him, taking him.
I'm sad he's leaving his adopted mom and
Marva.
robot.
Yeah, Marva, who kidnapped him basically from the planet.
She did.
What'd you think of the flashbacks? I like that the Canary, they didn't have any subtitles and you just had to figure out by context. Yeah.
They were a little long, but
it was a little long. It didn't need to be that much.
I did appreciate how how it looked. It looked awesome.
Yeah. I love how
it didn't look like a lot. It didn't look like a lot of things I typically associate with Star Wars.
That's so interesting that you're saying that. Yeah, the production on this thing is amazing. And I love the little indigenous native people, style of kids that they were.
What do you think is it the director that makes the biggest difference here, or is it just the set design? Or
Tony Gilroy is a big part of this because it feels just like Rogue One, so he's definitely has a tone in mind that he's show running and writing into it. He's not directing the episodes,
right?
But he is writing.
He did direct. Oh no,
yeah.
Toby Haynes has done the first 3.
Yeah, Tony Gilroy said he was just like, it's too big for him to also showrun and direct. So, but it's clearly his vision. So this is, I don't know. I think a lot of it comes from him.
Yeah, I don't think it's anyone like I don't think it's solely because it's serious that I like it. I like it more, but Mando wasn't always that serious and I liked it.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's just a good combination of so far good writing, a lived-in feel, a real tension to a lot of the stuff. You know, right off the bat, I was not shocked, but I was going when he headbutts the guy and the guy dies.
Yeah, you're like, what?
And then he point blank shoots the other guy in the head and going, oh, this is a little bit different than what I was expecting. Even like in the other Star Wars stuff, when they stick lightsabers through people, it just doesn't feel
right
as real as that kind of felt that scene.
Sometimes people survive even after that.
Like the guy begging for his, like, it's just little things, like the guy like begging that he won't tell anybody before he gets shot in the head. I'm like, that feels real.
That was great because I'm sitting there going, fuck, you got to kill this guy too now. You can't let him live. And then he fucking kills him. And I was like, oh, I didn't expect that, but I could see why you did that.
I just like that. Also, he goes to the nightclub, and because the woman comes up to him first, they get pissed off.
They wanted her.
They're like, hey, we were here first. That's great. And I love his look. And the guys.
It was very Roadhouse.
It was very Roadhouse. Oh, my God. Cassian is Roadhouse.
Well, the next three, as you mentioned, the next 3 episodes are going to be a different director, so we'll see.
Yeah,
Susanna White.
This will probably be like as the rebellion has started and he's sneaking into the thing. So that's the first season. The second season apparently will cover the remaining.
There's going to be a second season?
Yes, they have. This is a 12-episode season show. 24 episodes. The second season will cover years 2 right up to Rogue One, but that's not coming out for like 2 years. So,
holy shit.
Yeah, they just started shooting the second season. They're going to start shooting in November, apparently. So there's going to be
a lot to tell.
There's a lot to tell, apparently. Yes. So I like
Well, you know what? This could be good because for the most part, like in the general films, they don't really go into, and George Lucas did a terrible job of this, going into why the Empire is bad and why they needed a rebellion and exactly how that worked, like on a ground level, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just have the big picture, but like if you talk about Nazis, you go, oh, they're bad, but then if you show them, oh, they're fucking taking people and putting them on trains and then putting them into showers and gassing them and then fucking pulling their teeth out and whatever. Yeah. So they could sell their gold teeth, like down to that level of fucking disgustingness. Like we have no idea what the Empire is capable of. And so this could be the opportunity to really get into that. That could be cool. Not that I want to see fucking that kind of gross shit, but like, I'm just saying, like, there is a reason why they're bad. You know, we have to get into it.
I also hope we see Bix again, played by Adria Arjona, because she's just nice to look at.
They had an implied sex scene, right, with her? When she shows up to the guy's house and then wakes up in the morning, putting on her clothes.
Yeah, Tim. She was seeing the guy, Tim, who was just the worst. He was like stalking her. I'm glad he died. It's fine. Yeah, Tim can die.
He needed to get shot.
That fucking guy. But there's a lot of...
He was playing stupid games and he wanted stupid prize.
Yeah.
So,
just like, yes, it's so 80s movie, action movie. But so, that was like the deaths. There was a lot of deaths. It was crazy. The other thing I loved is that the droid got peed on by those little dogs. That was funny. So even the humor, it's like, it's not forced. It's very organic, but it's not, it's mostly a humorless, very, serious show, which I appreciate.
Are we, just to clarify, his construction buddy?
Yeah.
He's the guy that tied up the ship to a big thing, right? That like the piece of garbage.
He must have done that to
help him out.
Yeah, to help him out. Because he was pulling the cable, right? And you saw, the blues. Yeah, I love them clanging, the low-tech alarm, everybody's clanging. And the guy was just over his head, the fucking officer. Like, they were smiling when they thought they had him. And the street chase, like the speeder chase, it looked like it was going fast, not slow, like those fucking speeders in Boba Fett. It was going like 2 miles an hour. Shit is blowing up, and it's actually moving fast. Thank you.
There's the whatchamacallit. What was the last show they did?
Obi-Wan.
That wasn't a Filoni-verse show, right?
That's John Favreau wrote it. That was.
Oh.
So Favreau
Okay.
wrote it. That's like their universe.
But they were trying to be too Star Wars. I mean, they
Yeah.
were being Star Wars.
Yeah.
They were being Star Wars without like the intense cinematic feel.
And this is like the complete opposite end of the spectrum, right? It's like barely Star Wars, but it feels fresh Star Wars. Like,
Yeah, I think there's room for all of it.
there should be. Like, you shouldn't be mad that
the problem with all those other shows is that there's some like silly shit going on that they could have easily avoided, like with the girl running and it becomes Home Alone. It's just stupid. Like they don't need to do all
that's
that.
the goofy stuff that sometimes is in a lot of the Star Wars.
Yeah, well, you have like it's like the Jar Jar Binks thing. It's like you could have totally avoided putting that character in, and then the movies wouldn't have seemed as bad. But they made those calls.
I appreciate this outside, like not a Star Wars guy doing a Star Wars thing. Like I love when people do that because occasionally you will get very revealing, fresh new things.
Well,
So-
listen, if you start fucking with the lore,
Right.
then the fans are going to
yeah.
get crazy.
So I mean, will we see any character we know in the show? I don't know.
Was
So-
Ryan Johnson a Star Wars
No.
guy doing Star Wars?
No, he kind of did the same thing with that middle movie, right?
That's what I was pointing out is there's no absolutes, right? You can't just be like, we want always outside guys.
But he did goofy shit, like Luke Skywalker throwing the saber over his shoulder. That's goofy. It wouldn't. You can't see him doing that in this show.
No, but that was like going into something that Star Wars was. But that's like that ultimately comes down to mismanagement of this whole brand by Kathleen Kennedy. Really, there's a Spotify podcast I listened to. This guy from the Hollywood Reporter, The Town, and he was doing like a Q&A with a dude, and this dude went on this rant. It's great about how the biggest IP movie franchise possibly ever has been so mismanaged since Kathleen Kennedy took over. And he was like, she is a great producer. Her track record is great. She's done a lot of good, but she's probably just not right for the Star Wars because they can't get their shit together. He talked about there was no plan for the sequels. Clearly, J.J. Abrams made the first one without any plan or knowing where it was going to happen. And that's what you get is a fucking mess.
Yeah, it was kind of like they weren't confident enough in the story that they wanted to tell, so they left it all open. And that was just not a good idea.
He basically said the movie side of Star Wars is dormant at the moment, and maybe Star Wars should just focus on television because at least it could do something there.
The way Star Wars is run right now, it seems to me very much how DC Comics was run.
Oh my God, a little
where
bit.
It's just there's not really a cohesive story across everything, and it seems like not everything, but a lot of the different things people do are just like they have carte blanche to do whatever they want. So you get some things that are good and some that are bad and some that are very uneven, and none of it feels like it's all that connected because everyone's kind of doing their own thing.
It's all over the place for sure. And you see that
I don't think that it's a bad idea to have a fucking huge ass universe and everybody can kind of play around in it. But you just have to respect the material.
Yeah.
Like that's all. I mean, it's that simple. Like you can make let's say you can make a Star Wars with comedic elements, but you can't make Darth Vader funny.
Right.
Like you have to it has to work on its own. That's not like besmirching or negatively affecting established things. Some people don't care about that. They're like, yeah, let's make Batman funny or let's make fucking Darth Vader funny. But the real fans don't want that. Not in the actual universe. Maybe in like a fucking Lego story, you could do that or something,
Which they do.
But yeah, which is fine. It's for kids. It's not meant for whatever. But you can do all these things, like a serious side, a comedic side, as long as you're not fucking with the lore. As long as you're not fucking with canon, I think anything goes. So you can do it. You can do what Kathleen Kennedy, kind of wanted to do, but she just didn't give a shit about the lore. Now it's the problem.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm Ron. Favreau did not write Obi-Wan.
Oh, he didn't? Who wrote it?
Originally written by,
I thought,
Camille Johnny.
Oh, he wrote Boba
Amini. Yeah.
Oh,
he wrote Obi-Wan Kenobi is not a Filoni.
Oh, that is Okay, so it's not in that universe.
I mean, it's in the Star Wars version, but not directly influenced by them. The next thing they got is Mando and I think Ahsoka.
Yeah, Mando's probably coming out early next year. And the music was good in this show, too. I kind of like some of the fucking synth techno score was kind of cool. Let's do this. Let's rate this first 3 episodes. What would you guys give it? Anthony.
Start with Ruggs.
Okay, Ruggs.
I feel like it's a solid 7. Like it's better. Like just the production value alone puts it at 7. I did think it was slow.
Yeah.
I feel like that they were too decompressed there. They should tighten things up. But yeah, I think that it's high quality.
I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna go 7.5. I think it's gonna get better. We can look forward to seeing Forrest Whitaker as Saul Guerrera and a couple other cast members. But I like this dark, adult, mature take. It's very refreshing. It's fun to watch. I'm gonna stick with it. Anthony, what would you give it?
Oh man, I do agree with everybody. I think it was a little slow at times. I mean, I think there were definitely some times during the second episode for sure that I was picking up my phone and looking at some other stuff while I had it on. It felt like kind of a background thing at some certain points.
Yeah.
But that third episode is pretty damn good. That was probably one of the more tense things I've seen in Star Wars since Rogue One. Maybe some of the Mando stuff. So it's probably like a 7.5.
Nice.
Good enough to get me to, if you want to review it at the end, I'll watch it for you.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. I think if we can keep up and finish the 12 episodes, we'll give it another look-see at the end when it's over. But, no, dude, the shootout was fucking dope. I love how Luthen, like, you're learning his rules, or he's like, set up your exit on your entry, or there's another rule. I can't wait to see what Cassian learns from him and the shit that happens. So
if you can't stand, you can't fight.
Oh, yeah,
that's
Cobra Kai. Crane kick. Quiet. Quiet. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I thought you would kind of dig it after watching this. I'm like, this is different. This is very different.
Well, we can understand what quality is. If something's made with quality and care, we're going to pick up on it.
Looks good. All right, let's find out what our listeners thought in News from the Nation. It's time for News from the Nation. It's time for News from the Nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Chris Marin writes best Star Wars thing since Rogue One so far. Okay. Likes it a lot. Daryl K said Star Wars went and got all grown up-ish. And Ethan Cranford says really enjoying this take on the Star Wars universe. I hope they don't fumble it as the season progresses. Yeah, if they can keep up like what started in episode 3 and keep that momentum, I think this would be a tense thriller of a show. No more decompressed writing. Just fucking get it over with. Put it out there.
We've got 12 episodes, so we'll see.
Yeah, 12 is long now,
comparatively to what we're used to.
Compared to the
Disney.
Marvel 6-episode shows, and even Disney will go 8 sometimes.
It wasn't, Obi-Wan was what, 6?
Obi-Wan was 6, and Boba Fett was 6. I think, is Mando 10, 8, 9? I can't remember.
Yeah, you have plenty of episodes. No need to, like, stretch it out. Let's, like, make things happen, you know?
Yeah, Well, it's a long season, so that's going to be fun. I want to bring up a link Nick Shev posted in our Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation. It's to a trailer, and he writes, Kumail sighting. Imran ain't the only one who sees the greatness of this guy. Yeah. It's for a Hulu show called Welcome to Chippendales, and it's done from the people who did Pam and Tommy.
Which you liked a lot.
Which was a great fucking show. It's very good. Here's the thing about the Chippendales. I didn't know that the founder of Chippendales was an Indian dude with an accent. And apparently there's like murder and unsolved mysteries and blood and stuff involved and drugs and crime involved in the founding of Chippendales. So right there, I was like, oh shit, I'm in. I don't know if you guys got to scrub through
I'm watching it as you were talking.
Trailer. So once you listen to the audio, it's funny because Kumail's doing like a thick Indian accent. Yeah. So, but which is probably what the guy sounded like.
I'm offended by that.
Are you? Why does he have to sound like that?
Yeah.
Anthony, what are your initial thoughts just looking at this thing?
If I had all the time in the world, maybe I'd consider watching it, but I don't, so probably won't watch it. I normally don't really watch these, I guess, based on a true story retellings of history.
Yeah, I love these.
Unless someone's like, they're really awesome. But yeah, this seems right up your alley, Imran, because you liked the Pam and Tommy stuff, and you liked the Lakers show.
Yes, Winning Time is great, and it's got Kumail playing like...
And it's got Kumail.
So I read articles about him getting ready for the show, and apparently like this is one of his hardest fucking acting gigs he's ever had. And it fucked with his head, and so...
Oh, because he actually has to act in this one?
I think
not just be Kumail Nanjiani?
I think that's probably why.
Oh, God forbid he has to actually act.
Like, I have to do an accent and actually pretend to be a different person? Wait a minute. No, that's kind of what he said. It was like, this is actually stretching, like, my skills here. So, kudos to him for taking it. This is a big role, but... I don't know. I'm going to watch just because...
you tell me how it is.
Yeah, tell us.
I'll watch the first episode. Let you know.
You're going to watch the whole thing.
This is November 22nd on the Hulu.
You're definitely going to watch the whole thing.
I mean...
this is right up your alley.
Imran loves to watch guys take off their clothes. And he loves Kumail Nanjiani. So
I
it's
I got to watch RRR, which features like top shirtless brown dudes,
That's his favorite thing.
Still haven't watched that. I got to watch it for Jose Ibarra before our next Discord.
Why haven't you watched it? That should be something top of your list.
I'm trying to watch 90s action movies. I need to break it up. I was like, let me watch an hour at a time.
By the way, we're going to have to at some point set a date for the 90s movies. So just so that we have a goal to aim for at some point.
Oh my God.
It's going to have to be at some point next month, and I still have to catch
November.
up. Or November. Or we push it back because there's still a lot of movies to catch up on.
Movies and TV shows, it's just...
I haven't watched anything from that fucking list. Oh my God, I got to get on that.
All right, wait. I got another thing from the nation, which is fun, and this is a Jock thing. Well, it's a Jock and nerd thing. David Zika posted a link to an article with this quote, hashtag Jock and Nerd News, Tom Hardy in a rare role without a mask. This article said Tom Hardy entered the 2022 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Open Championship and won gold in his fucking category.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I was aware of this.
So, did you know that he's an actual, MMA guy?
I didn't know that. Well, jiu-jitsu.
He played one in a movie.
He did play one in a movie, and it sounds like he got into it because of the movie. So there you go.
Dude, the pictures of him in his, gi with this beard, he looks fucking badass. And are you surprised that he's good, Anthony? Would you go watch him fight?
No. Am I surprised that he's good? I mean, anyone can be
after
good.
seeing Logan Paul fight a fucking legit
MMA
God,
he
dude.
should fight Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Anybody could do it.
I mean, anyone with a lot of money and a lot of free time can get pretty good at something.
Do you think he should get in? Dana White should give him a call and throw him in for some ratings?
No, that's
he is
not happening.
42, so
yeah, that's not happening.
That's the thing. He should just fight Logan Paul. That would be hilarious.
They're doing different sports, but sure.
This championship held at a school, so it's very Cobra Kai. Very Cobra Kai. Oak Grove School. I just thought that was crazy that he beat the shit out of it and fucking won.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I think he was probably in a Masters League or something.
Okay.
An older. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really do a ton of research.
Yeah. Tom Hardy's winning. Okay. Let's finish up with some what are we watching. I'm just going to get She-Hulk out of the way. You guys caught up on the She-Hulk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jen goes to a wedding, gets drunk. There's a fucking
terrible
There's
episode.
a website where incels want to kill her. That's really it.
I'm going to agree with Ruggs. I really liked the first maybe 2 episodes of She-Hulk, and it's progressively gotten kind of shitty. And this was a very bad episode, so there's not much to talk about on that.
It's just you can clearly see that they moved episodes around.
Yeah.
Because
they had to shuffle things.
They shuffled them around. So in earlier episodes, she's got on outfits that fit her and stuff, and then all of a sudden she's wearing these giant baggy suits.
Oh, that's a good point, because they also talked about how they moved the origin up from episode 8, so they probably
so it's it's incongruent. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't match at all. It's just all over the place. And even like, yeah, it's like, why would she want to go as She-Hulk to a party? Like, even like, I don't know. It doesn't match to what she was saying earlier. It just, I don't know. She doesn't want to be She-Hulk. She doesn't need to be She-Hulk. And now all she wants to be is She-Hulk. I don't know. Only guys like it's like so confusing. I mean, but it is a show, about.
Well, I mean, even in the show, like her friend who was getting married was mad that she showed up as She-Hulk, and then when she became She-Hulk, she was drunk and she was like, "I can't believe She-Hulk is at my wedding."
Nothing on this show makes any sense. Like, why is she fighting
Titania
in the beginning episode, and then like they're fighting again?
Well, yeah,
it's
why
like,
did that happen in the first episode?
No, nobody knows.
Yeah, it's just there's not. I mean, it seems like they tease something at the end, but there's not really a through line to why this even matters. I mean, the most interesting stuff was when Bruce was there, right? And he gets shipped to space.
He gone.
And now the cameos have gotten progressively sillier and sillier. And now we didn't even have a cameo in this episode. We got the rug pulled out from underneath us. Pun intended, rug boy.
Was that the joke, though, maybe? Like, oh, we're going to tease Daredevil.
Yeah, of course it was the joke. She even said, wedding episode doesn't mean anything. But, yeah, that was an episode where I watched and I forgot what happened.
You didn't enjoy Mr. Immortal jumping out of the window and, like, fleecing 7 women and faking his death?
I mean, it's cute. It's a cute little thing. Is it really a cool side plot? No, not. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
On the one hand, if they're doing like a sitcom, this is a typical like sitcom setup that it's just a thing, right? It's like a one and done comedy setup that doesn't have amount to anything.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not for me. Not right now. These episodes have gotten to the point where they're not for me, and I'll keep watching because I have to. Is because I want to actually.
There's only 3 left.
Yeah, it's just it's not a good show, and I think when you compare it to like Andor, you're just like, wow, what a breath of fresh air Andor is. And you watch this and you go, was this the direction I really wanted Marvel to go? I don't think so.
If you were going to make a comedy show, it's got to make you laugh.
Yeah, it just wasn't funny.
And not make you cringe.
I thought there was a couple of funny things in this episode that made me laugh.
What?
I can't remember them right now. There was a couple.
What was the funniest thing?
There's a couple of jokes.
Did her shaking her ass like Megan Thee Stallion make you laugh? I was like, no, that's not funny.
Well, that's not in this episode. I mean, she falls on her face and breaks her teeth. That's not that funny.
Oh, she breaks her veneers. No, Jen had some moments with the guy when she was drunk that I thought were kind of funny. I can't remember. Was that guy?
She's charismatic. It's just there's not a lot going on. Yeah, the show's just not. They're firing a lot of blanks when it comes to being funny.
I don't understand if they were trying to get her blood when she's She-Hulk. Why don't you just get her when she's Jen? Like you can clearly stick a needle in her and get her blood.
I mean, the only kind of like the intelligentsia. I looked them up. It's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah. It's a real group led by MODOK and the leader at different points.
Yeah, the smartest villains in the universe. Yeah. I think Doom at one point gets involved with intelligentsia.
So now they turned it into like a QAnon Reddit fucking thing like they did in the Batman.
Perhaps. Yeah, the show's been just kind of meandering along.
All right.
I guess it is a sitcom, but not. This is one of the first times where I'm like, that episode sucked.
Wow. Wow.
I watched it late
I've been
Thursday.
feeling like that. I've been feeling like that for a while, but it's just, this one was like too much.
At least they're short and there's only 3 more. Show me Daredevil and don't make him all goofy.
It was one of those where it was 30 minutes and I felt like it was an hour.
Oh, God.
I was like, oh, my God.
Jesus. That's not good.
Maybe I watched it on Thursday night right before I was going to go to bed. And I was like, this has put me right to sleep.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about something good. You guys caught up on House of the Dragon.
I didn't catch the last episode.
Oh.
Which one? After the wedding. So I'm at the wedding. I got to watch the next one tonight, actually, probably.
Oh, we can't talk about it.
But now we can't talk about it. God damn it!
The time jump episode.
All I have to say is I haven't seen obviously this latest episode, and I'm very disappointed that it's the last we've seen of those actresses.
Yeah, this next episode is pretty good.
Pretty good. I mean,
it's very good.
That wedding episode
that's crazy.
It was pretty good.
And then the shit that they show you that happens, it's crazy.
There is some things that make that are weird visually going on.
Yeah,
but
in terms of
let me just ask you guys this: are you guys happy with the new actresses? Because that's one of the biggest things I'm worried about is can they replace those old actresses? First of all, I don't even think why they needed to recast them.
I don't even think they needed to.
So
to be honest,
the girl
with you.
playing Allison looks just like the other one. And then the actress Emma Darcy, I think, replaces Rhaenyra. She's good. Like by the end of it, you're you get it.
They still act like that. They still act.
Yes.
They still you feel like it's the same person.
I think so. I think it comes. Some
Just
of the
older.
other aged up actors is a little iffy. It's not as solid, but the main two, I think, are still good.
Sorry, I should have watched it, but I put off Andor till the last minute, and then I was like, "Fuck, I got to go to bed."
Ruggs, would you agree the two leads are still pretty compelling?
Yeah, they're fine. I think that by the end of the episode, you're fine with it, and you make the transition. But I still don't think it was necessary at all. And I think that the illusion doesn't work as well. The only person that they really aged up is the king.
Oh yeah, he just looks more decrepit. Shit.
And I just spoiled it for you.
No, that's okay. I kind of figured. Yeah.
But Imran said it last week anyway. But like,
it's in the pro.
Yeah,
it's in the promo.
They should have aged up everyone else to look older because some people look exactly the same. They should have totally aged.
Some people just age better than others.
No, not white people.
Not Targaryens. They're pale and pasty. Come on.
No, white people.
All right, look, I can't wait till we talk about this at the end, but catch up for next week, Anthony, because this is a show. HBO's come out with the numbers. The viewing numbers have increased every episode. They're saying it is averaging like 29 million viewers now overall. And
I like it.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. Every episode has picked up. People have catched up and caught on.
Well, let me tee you guys up. I haven't been watching this, but I'm still curious on how it's going. Rings of Power. What do you guys think?
Rex, what happened in this? Spoilers.
Spoiler
What
alert.
happened in this last episode? Remind me real quick.
Oh shit!
It was
basically Galadriel gets the forces together,
right? They
and
get in an army,
gets everyone on board to like sail out to fucking Middle Earth.
She's training
from Numenor.
Yeah, she's having sword fights and training them, and
she trained.
very
She
good.
trained some people.
The big tall guy who fell from Earth protects them and saves them from like a warthog and does a ground pound. It has like
it's a wolf.
It's a wolf. He's got like magic fucking superpowers. That was
so now what's going on what's going around on the interwebs is Sauron is actually the dude that's with Galadriel.
Wait,
and not Adar.
That guy
or
from
whatever.
the Southlands.
Yeah, he's because they show him doing a lot of fucking blacksmithing.
Yeah,
and that's how he makes his own ring. Sauron makes his own ring.
Yeah, he wanted
right?
to be a blacksmith.
So they're like, oh, this guy's always fucking making weapons and shit and like blacksmithing, and he's tall and he's good looking, and Sauron, when he comes to whatever, he can come in the form of a beautiful man, so like he fits the bill for that, and he wouldn't be like a twisted person like Adar is at this point, or that's his name is Adar.
That's the main orc guy.
Yeah. So that's the rumor, is that he's actually Sauron and in disguise, and that's going to be the big reveal at the end when he finally gets to Middle Earth. But my big problem with this is the same problem I had with Andor, is that like nothing's happening.
Yes, that's true.
Like they're like it's like really like going so slow.
Yeah.
And we don't need to spend this much time with all, like, they're beating everything like a dead horse. They're like really like, okay, we get it. Like there's the father son dynamic of I forgot the name of the guy. The guy who's the sailor who wants to be on the he wants to be one of the people who sails out.
Isildur.
Isildur. Yeah. So Isildur, he's the guy that actually in the Lord of the Rings, he's supposed to take the ring to get unmade in Mount Doom, and he turns around and puts it on and decides to use the Ring of Power.
He's the guy we see in the beginning of the first Lord of the Rings movie, right? When they're showing you what happens.
Yes, he's the one who
chops his finger.
He's the one who ends up. Yeah, he chops Sauron's fingers off and was able to make Sauron go away. So like he's a major figure in Lord of the Rings lore. It's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. But like, they're really taking too long.
I will say this: I'm still enjoying both shows for completely different reasons. Like, you know, House of the Dragon is just solid. Go ahead, everybody's playing the game. It's fucked up. It's unraveling slowly, and what we're like.
Does it feel like Tolkien to you? Does it feel like Lord of the Rings?
To me, it does. I didn't read the books. To me, it does feel like it's part of that world, but it's been all set up, like you said.
Little Mermaid.
But yeah, what? Part of this world?
Part of that world.
Yes, it's under the sea. Under the sea.
Sorry.
But this is it's all like 5, 6, whatever. How many episodes? Like nothing really. What has happened? Not much. It's
for an
very
8-episode show to be at episode 5 and say nothing's happened. It's got to be a little worrisome.
Well, okay. Let me take you through the plot very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. So Galadriel's been hunting down Sauron, and basically all of the elves are like, cut to shit. Like, he's not around anymore. You're chasing a fool's errand, and they send her. They want to send her to the Valar, right? In the Undying Land. So they put her on a boat. She jumps off that boat.
It's like Valhalla, right? Like the heaven.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like,
So
fuck this, I'm out.
She's like, no, she's like, fuck this. I don't want to go to Valhalla.
Yeah.
So she jumps off the boat, and then she ends up on this other boat with this other guy that's actually Sauron, or supposedly. Well, he's like this king that is
He's escaping from something.
He's escaping. His story is he's escaping Middle Earth because like there's fucking orcs everywhere, like taking over everything, and they took his kingdom from him. So she and him, they get discovered by the Numenorians, which are like these humans that like have this great city, and they live low. They used to live longer than regular humans, and they were a little stronger and blah blah blah. They were like uber humans.
Mm-hmm.
And so they take them in, and she's trying to convince them, listen, we got to go to war in Middle Earth. And that's it. That's all that's happened.
Well, meantime,
in 5 episodes.
The meantime, these pre-hobbits, Hartfoots, this dude falls from the sky, and they just find.
And what's happened since he fell from the sky? They're just walking.
They're walking. He's protecting them. They're protecting him. They're not sure if he's good or bad. One girl trusts in him, and he helps them out. We don't know who this guy is. He doesn't speak. He's learning how to talk.
So 5 or 6 hours have passed thus far, and that's not really a lot.
What about the other elf with that girl and her son who have the hilt of Sauron's sword, right?
Yeah. So anyway. So
here's all that
this guy runs away, and he runs away from the lands, right? Because orcs are taking over. And in the area where the orcs are taking over, there's these elves who are supposed to like watch over the humans, and they get attacked, and they find out that there's a fucking shitload of orcs underground, burrowing underground,
they can't
or
go
whatever.
in the sun like me.
They can't go in the sun. So there's also this discovery of this sword, and I guess it's the sword that Sauron needs. It's like a fucking, it's a MacGuffin. Yeah. But that's it.
Yeah.
In 5 episodes,
not much has happened.
Like I mean, for 5 episodes, that's the only thing that's like. Just try and describe to me what happened in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh my god!
In the past 5 episodes,
packed.
So many things have happened,
and you know where that's going, right? I don't really know where this show is going. Like, I'm not sure.
Like, the problem is this show is called Rings of Power.
Yes, where are these rings? When are you going to make the rings? Show me the rings.
The Rings of Power, and that in and of itself, I don't even think they have the license to do that. So I feel like, why did they name the show Rings of Power if you don't even own the rights to Silmarillion, where all the stories of the Rings of Power take place? Basically, Anthony, this is all filler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, like, the only thing the things that actually happen is the rings get made, and then Sauron, like, it's a MacGuffin. Like, basically, these rings get made, but Sauron knows that he can create a ring that'll control everybody. Mm-hmm. And so he'll instantly bring all of the races under his power if he makes the one ring.
It continues to look beautiful and cinematic, and just like that keeps me around.
But there's not even a thought of the rings being made at this point.
Somebody mentioned mentioned a forge once, and that was it.
Yeah, there's just been a mention. So it's like, you call the show the Rings of Power. That should be like the paramount thing that's happening, right? That should be like the overarching looming thing. And I can't see it looming now. I could see it looming maybe 3 seasons from now, because right now we're still like inching along to get these people to Middle Earth so they can all kind of clash. And I think that's how it's going to end this first season. Like they're all going to finally clash, and you're going to reveal that that's Sauron, and then it's the big reveal. Boom,
There's also a whole dwarf nation, dwarves that are helping, and they're involved somehow. There's a lot of different people.
Well, they're setting that up because they got the ore that they're going to make the rings with eventually.
And they found the mithril or whatever.
Right.
And there's a fucking.
I think actually Galadriel's ring that's made is made of mithril or has mithril in it.
So the elves need this thing the dwarves found to keep because their light is dying out or something. It's very, I don't know. I'll still watch it, but I'm like, where's this going?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they've wasted these 5 episodes to just get someone from point A to point B and kind of just let you know what's going on. But like, it's a lot. They could have done it in 2 episodes. They could have done it maybe 3 if you want to stretch it. 3.
Yeah.
Like by the time we're here, we should be like full on into like the falling action. We should really be like, okay, this is the story starting to, hit its stride. And then, then a few more episodes, we have the resolution, but we're not even there yet.
I mean, and
it feels like we're all setting everything up.
The action they've showed has been good though. Also, I thought,
like, what's the main conflict?
I don't know.
I
don't know. She's trying to.
Like, what's the main conflict thus far is Galadriel had to convince them to go to Middle Earth.
Yeah, get an army.
Is that enough of a conflict to make you want to watch a show?
Forever.
So they just got to get their shit together. They don't have the rights to the Silmarillion, so they're doing some kind of weird dancing around it. And I think that's actually working not to the benefit of the show. Is the show bad? No, I just think the show is like just crawling at a very, very slow pace.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they can even touch any of this cool stuff that's out there. And if they can't, then that show's dead in the water.
It's dead on. Ruggs is exactly right. So that's what's happening. Anyways, what else? Anybody watch anything else they want to mention that was fun?
I watched Short Circuit.
Oh, Johnny Number 5 with Fisher Stevens playing a Pakistani guy and doing the accent and speaking Urdu.
He never says he's Pakistani.
Yeah, but he says he's speaking.
He said he's from Bakersfield.
He's speaking Urdu. He learned Urdu for this role.
Hey,
come on.
I say Shiza. Does that make me German?
Why did you watch Short Circuit? I love when he's like, come on, yar. Like he's trying, and then, Johnny Number 5. Why did you watch Short Circuit?
I don't know. I just felt like I saw it and I was like,
I could be rebooted with Kumail. Put Kumail in it.
I remember I saw I was on one of the streamers and I'm like, Short Circuit.
This is when
Johnny
you could put a
5.
white guy in brown face and it was okay. Right? Still worked like Soul Man. Anthony, have you ever seen Short Circuit?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my God, you should watch. It's hilarious. It's like 80s comedy.
You know what? You can't just watch Short Circuit. You got to watch Short Circuit 1 and 2 because it feels like unfinished, like an unfinished story.
This guy who's like kind of a geek loser builds a robot, tries to get the girl. There's shenanigans. They stop a crime.
No, he's like a genius.
He's a smart guy, right? But he's awkward around women and stuff, But then he builds a Johnny Number 5 AI robot, and the thing is great.
No, that's not how you.
That's not what happens. I haven't seen the movie in years.
It's Iron Giant before Iron Giant. That's all it is.
There you go.
Right. Okay, I should watch it again too.
It's like a military robot. A bunch of military robots are made. They're showing them off to people, and then one of them gets hit by lightning, and it becomes alive.
Oh my God, I forgot about all that.
And it becomes sentient all of a sudden. It shouldn't, because the way that the program says, there's no way that there's enough sophistication for it to be alive. So there's something going on. It's malfunctioning. But it turns out he is alive. And then he finds a friend. And the friend, it's kind of like, the whole Iron Giant just unfolds, except it's on a smaller scale.
It is a classic 80s comedy, though.
What was Iron Giant before Iron Giant? Was it Short Circuit? And that was the only one, right?
You tell me.
Sure.
I would say so.
I'm not. I'm doing 90s action movies, so if it's a TV show that I have to watch, the only thing I have time for left is 90s action movies, which I haven't watched any in a bit.
Well,
so
you haven't.
I got to get back on that.
Yeah, let me know when you're watching one, because maybe I'll watch it at the same time so we could talk about it.
Well, I think the next one I'm going to aim to watch is Total Recall, because I haven't seen that in a long time.
All
right.
Well, Hagen, you have what you want. Give the people the air.
I remember seeing that as a kid and being very confused that this was an Arnold movie and what was going on.
Consider this a divorce. Great line. He's got great one-liners. That is a great sci-fi movie, though. Just the whole concept of it. It's fucking great.
A bunch to watch. I got that or
the girl with 3 boobs.
Yeah.
Or Rapid Fire Showdown in Little Tokyo. As well.
Those are fun.
I'm either going to do catch up on Schwarzenegger. I do it in bunches. So I pick an actor and I do hit the movies. So like for instance, I did all the Cage and then I did all of Van Damme. So then I'm either going to do all of Schwarzenegger or all of.
So you're all caught up on Van Damme.
For all the movies that we needed to see, I caught up on all of them. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So it's either next is Brandon Lee or Schwarzenegger. So if it's Schwarzenegger, I'm doing Total Recall and rewatching True Lies, and if it's Brandon Lee, I'm doing Showdown in Little Tokyo or Rapid Fire.
Those are all great. Rapid Fire is great.
I can't wait to watch. I gotta watch.
Yes, and we will get to that 90s tournament soon. I gotta catch up on
sometime
a lot
in November, maybe.
Yeah,
we said September, and
we're gonna push it.
Are you watching Imran? Are you watching that Quantum Leap show?
So I checked out the Quantum Leap reboot. There's actually a new episode on tonight, and I caught the re-airing of the pilot episode. And it's not a reboot. It's actually in the same universe. They mentioned Dr. Sam Beckett and Ziggy Sasamei. You have Dr. Ben Song as the lead. And, the first episode is very TV. They had to explain everything and set it up. But you know what? It kind of had that charm of Quantum Leap. I kind of enjoyed it. He leaps into a guy who's about to, pull off a big robbery. And the dude's going to get shot. So he has to get him to not do it. And it's the same setup, but he's lost his memory. And you're going to learn about him along the way. And then, spoilers, at the end of the first episode, he leaps out and he leaps into an astronaut who's on the shuttle as it's taking off. Which, of course, that's crazy. But I might try to squeeze this in because I love the original Quantum Leap so much. I wanted Dr. Sam Beckett to get home. He never does. I think he came home at the last episode and then leaped out again. I forgot how it ended. But
he's like, this sucks.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to keep leaping. So, yeah, this guy is continuing the same program, and he decides to do it without telling anyone. They don't know why, and he doesn't remember, but they can reach him by hologram. Like they did with Al. So yeah, it's Quantum Leap. You know what? They rebooted MacGyver a few years ago. I never watched that. I don't know if it was any good. The original is not that good. It's only good in my head. This I used to love, and it's like good sci-fi. So I don't know. I'm down. I think I'm going to try to watch this. It's very network television though,
Yeah, it's totally.
Did you watch the original show? Rugs?
Quantum Leap? I watched a little bit of it. I wasn't like a diehard fan, but I would watch it every
Anthony,
once in
you
a
ever
while.
watch this?
No.
It was a good show. I remember one moment stuck out where he leaps into this guy's body and he's playing to his little kid sister. He's playing guitar and he's playing John Lennon's Imagine, but he's playing this before John Lennon actually wrote it. And the little sister's like, "Oh, what is that?" He's like, "Oh, you don't know this yet. John Lennon's going to write the song and then he gets shot later." And she just got she started crying. He scared the shit out of her, telling her what happens to the Beatles. And for some reason, I always remember that. Like, it was really emotional. He's like, "Oh, you can't fuck with the past." But it's loosey-goosey time travel fucking rules in the show.
Yeah.
But he leaps into somebody's body and he's got to write what they did wrong so that he can fix their life, and then he will leap to the next person, and they try to pull him home during the leaps. Of course, they can't, so he's leaping around. So there's always different time periods that they can play with. This network Quantum Leap. I love the Quantum Leap. It's fine. It's fine. It's just fine. It's fine. Good. If you like the original show, you may enjoy this because it is a continuation of the same thing. Okay. All right. That's good for this week, guys. Rugs, where can the listener find you online?
You can find me online at Twitter at Really Rug Boy. On Twitter.
He's at Twitter and on Twitter, and he's inside Twitter.
Where's Twitter at?
Wherever he is, you're up in it. Make sure you visit the show description for this episode, which you'll find links to Rug Boy's Twitter, how to get to our TeePublic shop, how to support the show, how to give back, all that fun stuff. Share the show, listener. That's the most important thing. Text it out, Facebook message it, tweet it, TikTok it, whatever you got to do. Get it out there in the world. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Be more funny.
Sorry.
I fucking loved it.
Fuck that show.
She-Hulk.